Hello, guys. Welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with one and O Qasim, Kayani, and yes, delighted to get you back on, mate.
I really do appreciate you for having me back on. Been trying to get on with you for a couple of weeks now, but due to unforeseen circumstances, we haven't been able to get on. But yeah, I'm glad to be back, man.
Yes, mate. So you made your debut back in September, on the 9th of the 9th of September against Paul Scaife, and talk about the opponent change because of course I think it changed twice.
Yeah, so I think it started off by being it was Casey. I'm pretty sure it was Casey. So yeah, then it changed, and then I think you told me who the new opponent was. Then it got changed last second again. So yeah, I wasn't really too bothered about the opponent because I knew the outcome was going to be the same. But it was interesting, man. This is what happens with the smaller shows. You've got to be prepared for anything. And going into that fight, I was prepared for anything, man.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you had Paul Scaife. What do you make of Paul Scaife as a fighter?
He seems like he's a lovely guy, and to be fair, he's not a bad fighter. Uh, but yeah, man, it was what it was. I felt comfortable in there. It wasn't really too much of a problem. But yeah, he wasn't a bad fighter. He's a good little test for guys that are coming up that want to turn over to the pro ranks. So yeah, man, he's a tough guy. He can take a punch. Hence the reason he hasn't been stopped too many times. But yeah, man, he's not a bad fighter at all.
Mm-hmm. And of course, talk about being main event in your debut fight.
Yeah, man, that was decent. That was a big thing. I think because we got rid of the most tickets and whatnot, I think they put us on last. So that was a good feeling, man. It was exciting. It was nice, and yeah, man, it was a little more pressure, but really and truly, when it comes to this fighting thing, I don't really feel pressure. So it was what it was. So I just had to make sure I put on a performance for everyone else to remember, man. And hopefully, I think I did.
Mm-hmm. And was there any nerves like when you found out you were topping the bill? Did you add pressure on yourself, or did you not
Um,
let that get to you?
you know what? When it comes to boxing and when it comes to fighting in general, there's always a bit of pressure in terms of not wanting to lose or not wanting to get beat up or whatnot. But when it came to this fight specifically, I know it was my boxing debut, but nah, man, I didn't really get nervous. I'll be real with you, but not in an arrogant way. But I don't really get too nervous when it comes to fights. I think of it a fight. You're gonna either win, you're gonna either lose. So there's two outcomes, and maybe sometimes you get a draw. So I knew I put the hard work in with Zav, my trainer, my brothers. I knew we all put the hard work in. So I knew he was just ready to, I was ready to just show up and show everyone what I'm made of.
Mm-hmm. Rate your performance out of 10, and how did you feel in the fight? And what do you feel like you done well in that fight that night?
Out of 10, I think I'll give myself maybe a 5. Because a lot of people that were spectating and watching it were saying it's a great performance, all the other good stuff. But me personally, since it was my first fight, again, not feeling too many nerves, but going in there and you got to be prepared for the unknown because it was my first time ever wearing 8-ounce gloves in a fight. I've been sparring throughout the whole of camp at 16-ounce, no headgear, all that stuff. So going into that fight, the main goal for me to was aim for me was to get in and get out of the fight as the victor, whatever means necessary. So I give myself a 5 because I believe if I stepped on it a little more, I could have taken him out in maybe 1 or 2 rounds. But
If it was
that
six
being said,
rounds.
it was no, it's 4 rounds. It's 4 rounds. It's four
Mm,
rounds.
yeah, but if it was, I meant if it
If
was six.
I'll be honest, if it was 6 rounds, I do think because as the rounds got on, I got more and more comfortable. I do think I would have stepped on the gas and probably taken him out because I'm one of those guys. I'd take you to deep waters and I'll drown you. So he started off strong coming forward, whatnot, and then like always, like people against me, they start off strong, but once they start feeling my size, my strength at 140, they start getting pushed back. I'm not saying I'm a tremendous puncher, but I've got a bit of pop. So once I start landing shots, once I start showing my awkwardness, he quickly backed up, and then yeah, man, it wasn't too difficult. But again, every fight is gonna have some kind of problem and some kind of puzzle you got to solve. So he was a tough opponent, but yeah, I just give myself a 5. To not ramble on too long, I'd say a 5 because I would if I got the stoppage, it would have been a little higher. So I would have liked to get the stoppage.
Mm-hmm. And When can we expect you back out? Would it be the new year, of course, what, February, March, or when you try and get back out?
So the original plan was to literally be fighting right now. So my original plan was to fight September, then get one October, November, then get one January. Because I turned my birthday's in February, so I wanted to get 3 or 4 before then. But because of the circumstances, because in the first round I tore my tendon, so it's still not fully healed up. So I think I threw a jab or a left hook, and I tore my tendon. I thought I broke my hand. So because of that,
What round was
I've been
that?
told that was round one. So the first round of my debut, which was interesting, man, it's something that I had to overcome as I was boxing. So because that happened, I went to the doctor 2 days after the fight. They said no punch until January. I went to them recently. They said no punching towards the end of January, till towards the end. So until February, I can't really punch. So now I think I'm lined up to get out in March. So I've started my pre-camp. Like literally just come back from training now. I should get back to my sparring next month, which will be January, or not sparring my paddock. February, I should get to my sparring and whatnot. And March, I should take someone's head off.
Mm-hmm. And would that be another 4 rounder?
Yeah, so with me, I want to hopefully get another four. I wouldn't even want the six to be fair, because I believe as the rounds get on, I get stronger and stronger. So my expectation is it'll be a 4 rounder. Then maybe after that, it'll either be another 4 rounder, then we go to six. And then I want to get a southern area to whoever the champion is at the time. I wanna go for a southern area and then move up the ranks, hopefully in English, then a British, then world level.
Mm-hmm. What?
That's
So do you want the southern area next year, or?
I'd like it next year. I'll be honest, because I believe I could I believe I could win it now. That might sound a little arrogant, but I don't believe there's a man at my weight that I can't beat. So I would like it. I would like it as soon as possible. So next year would be great if I could get it next year. Because next week, yeah, hopefully I will. I remember the last time I spoke to you. I think I said to you, I want to fight 3, 4 times this year, then maybe like 7 times next year. So as soon as my next fight after my hand heals up in March, I'm literally just gonna get out as much as I can and then go for the southern area, go for the English, then go for the British, and just go for everything, man.
Did you see the English title was fought for on the weekend?
Uh, for at light welter, or which weight class?
It was I think it was super lightweight.
Super lightweight. No, no, who fought for it?
It was Mikey Saki v Dennis Judakayev, and Mikey won in round 4.
Oh, okay, by stoppage, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so if Mikey still got it, then hopefully we'll have to meet each other next year. But now I didn't really know. Was it on a Goodwin show? Or was it on a different show?
that was on a Goodwin show.
A Goodwin show. Yeah. So hopefully it's a Goodwin fight. Or whoever has it is a Goodwin fight. So when it comes, when it's my time to come, I can take it off them.
That's the English, and then the southern area, I think Yashir El Gainer, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. He has it as well. Yeah. So hopefully, but by the time I'll be fine fit, I'd say hopefully towards the end of next year. I'll be honest. I don't really care who it is. I'm just ready to take it off them.
What do you make of the super lightweight division domestically?
Domestically, I'll be honest. Like again, not sounding overconfident or arrogant. This is just my personal point of view. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I believe everyone there is to be beat in the 140 division. Like I don't see no superstars. Like there's no one there that makes me think, okay, I can't beat this guy. Because I see the 140 division, I see as a division where everyone's there to be taken out. Whether it's the top 10, the top 20, the top 50. So it's an exciting division, but it's a division I believe I can conquer and I can go all the way to, man.
And how many fights next year roughly would you have? You said
No,
7. Would that be
so
ideal?
so so I'll be honest. Next year I'll be fine as many times as I could. So February, then sorry, March, then hopefully get one in April or May. So maybe 6 or 7. Hopefully that's what I'm hoping for. Then the following year we push on for major titles, and that's maybe all the, like you never know with this boxing thing. Maybe I'll break my hand next fight, so you can never put all your eggs into one basket. But that's in an ideal world. I'd like to have at least 6 or 7 next year, man.
Mm-hmm. Is
Mhm.
that the plan? Really?
That's
What's the goal next year?
the goal next year is again. I think I've touched on this with you before and with a lot of other interviewers. the goal for me when it comes to this boxing thing and the goal for next year is not to gain followers, not to be well known or whatever, because we're quite well known in my area anyways. Is not to none of this clouty stuff, man. It's literally just to beat everyone. I just want to fight everyone. And if I can't beat them, fair enough. But most time is literally to get into the ring with these guys and see if I can beat them. And 99% of the time, actually scratch that 100% of the time, I believe I can beat these guys, man. So I'm just waiting for the right opportunity, and hopefully I can show my skills to the world, man. Because I believe I've got a unique style, and I can take a lot of people out with my style, man.
How would you describe your style to somebody who hasn't watched you fight before?
So it's a little different now than it used to be in amateurs. In amateurs, it was a lot slicker, and it was a lot more shoulder based. I used to shoulder roll based. But now with Xavier Miller, he's changed it up a little. So now I've got a bit more of a higher guard. I use my shoulder to get away from shots. I use my head movement to get away from shots. And at the same time, I'm 6 foot and I've got a long reach, but I like fighting in the pocket as well. I enjoy fighting in the pocket. Like, it's exciting for me. So I'm a long rangy fighter that can break you down on the inside, and I can get away from shots on the outside. It's a weird style. It's a unique style. Like, at times you might see me throwing a bunch of things. Oh, like that don't look like it hurt too much, but then the other guy would be feeling it. You get me? So it's a unique style, man. And I'm at weight class. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the biggest as well, at 140, being 6 foot. So a lot of people don't expect me to come forward. So maybe for a round or 2 rounds, I go on the back foot, touch him with my jab, move around. Then when it comes down to it, I love a dogfight, man. And if he takes me out in that dogfight, then fair play to him. But I don't really see too many people taking me out.
And do you feel, because of course some journeymen don't come to fight. Do you think when people start to come to fight you, that's when you'll start taking people out?
100%. Even my last fight, to be fair, I really do think I could have taken my last guy because I hurt him multiple times. I think I hurt him in the first round, but I injured my hand at the same time. But at the same time, I've got a Zav in the corner, and he's been around the game for years. He's been with Dylan, he's with Yusuf right now, he's with my brother Amar. So when I was trying to load up and jump on the guy, he was telling me to keep hands tight because you never know what can happen in a fight, especially with me being such an inexperienced pro. I could be trying to engage with a journeyman, you get caught, you get knocked down. So you can never be too sure with these 8 ounce gloves. But when it comes to these journeymen that come forward and that sometimes want to put on a show for the crowd or sometimes want to try to get the win or whatever, I do believe I get a lot more. I do believe I'd stop a lot of people, man. But my last fight, I do think I was unlucky to not get the stoppage because I did hurt him multiple times, but I just put my foot on the brake a little bit and make sure I don't do nothing out of pocket. But yeah, going back to the question, the more journeymen come forward, I think the more opportunities I'll have to take the chins off the face.
And yeah. So do you have, because of course you bring like a big crowd, is it hard to, like, when you're in there, when they're all shouting like knock him out, get to it, like, is it hard to stay focused and try zone? Sometimes you have to try and zone out what the fans are saying, because if sometimes you put somebody down and everyone's trying to, you know what I mean. But so do you try
100%.
just zone out if, like, so you can't hear the crowd?
That's exactly what I do, because sometimes in amateurs I used to sometimes want to put on a good show for the crowd and not want to do nothing stupid or nothing that don't look great, even though it's effective. Whereas now in the pros, you're right, you got to be zoned in at all times. So even if you hurt the guy with a big shot and your crowd's screaming and crazy for you, you got to be sensible with it. But the good thing about my crowd is the people that do come, it's a lot of the time it's family, it's friends, and it's people that I do know. So it's not a lot of random people. So they understand the art of boxing. They understand boxing is hitting and not getting hit, and they're there to support you. And they're not there to watch an entertaining fight. They're there just to watch you win. So that's where the pressure's not too much on me. Where someone, say for example, my brother, he sells say 600 tickets a fight, 500 tickets a fight, sells way more tickets than me. With his crowd, it's a little more probably difficult, as he's got like half of them friends and family, then he's got half of them they're fans, they're neutral fans that just come there to watch and fight. So yeah, with my crowd, I'm a little lucky at the moment. Even though it's a big crowd, it's mostly friends, families, people I know. So yeah, so it's a little less pressure because everyone wants me to win, and they can understand why I'm boxing the way I'm boxing.
Do you get nervous, like, watch Do you get more nervous when your brother fights than when you fight?
Yeah, man, I do. I'll be honest. It's because when you're watching someone fight, you're not in control of your own destiny. For example, when I'm boxing, I know what I can do. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I'm going to do. Whereas if I'm watching my brother fight, my younger cousin fight, you're never too sure. Like you can shout at them, tell them to go to the body or take a step back or whatever. But at the end of the day, you're not in control. So when something's out of your control, it's a lot more nerve-wracking. Whereas with me, I see boxing as this. If I go into the ring and someone knocks me out cold, I'm not really too bothered. I doubt that'll ever happen, no. But I'm not too bothered. If someone hits me, whatever, it's boxing. You win or you lose. And so I don't feel no pressure. Even though you're half naked and you're going to a ring in front of like a group of 200, 300 people, I'm not too bothered. So yeah, man. But yeah, when you watch your family box, of course, all your friends and whatnot, it's a lot more nerve-wracking because again, you can only tell them so much. But at the end of the day, they got to do it themselves. Whereas when I'm boxing, I'm doing it all myself. I know what I can do. I know what to do when I'm in certain situations. I know what I'm capable of doing. So yeah, man, it's a lot more nerve-wracking watching family members or friends box.
Mm-hmm. And do you mind if I ask you fight predictions to some of the fights that are up and coming?
Of course, I wouldn't mind at all.
Anthony Joshua v Otto Warlin, of course, that's on the 23rd.
I think AJ takes him out late, so I think it'll be, ooh, yeah, I think it'll be a bit of a difficult fight at the start because Otto Wallen's a bit dirty. He likes making things a little messy, but I think towards around 8 or 9, I think AJ will catch him a couple of times and take him out.
So late stoppage for AJ.
I'll say late stoppage for AJ before he goes and takes out Wilder as well.
What? So you think AJ would knock out Wilder?
Yeah, maybe I think maybe because I'm a fan of AJ, maybe that's why I'm picking AJ. But yeah, I believe he has the capability of knocking out Wilder. At the same time, I do believe Wilder can knock him out too. But I think AJ, because of his his amateur pedigree, and because of his boxing shape and his hard straight shots, I do believe he can get rid of Wilder.
Do you think Wilder knocks out Parker early or?
You know what? I'm a fan of Parker, man. So it depends. I think as soon as Wilder catches him, he takes him out. But if Parker stays short and compact, like he did against AJ, or even tries to box a move, maybe he'll have a bit of success. Or maybe if he goes to the body and stays tight, he'll have a bit of success. And with Wilder, you never know. If Wilder gets hit in the chin by anyone, he can get hurt. I mean, Parker hits harder than a lot of these guys. Like Parker hits harder than the Helenius. Parker hits harder than Brazil. And all of these guys have rocked Wilder before he's knocked them out. And Parker's got a bit of boxing IQ. So I think Wilder on paper, of course, I think Wilder would knock him out. But going back, if you compare Parker to all of Wilder's opponents, there's only 2 people I put above Parker, and that's Ortiz. Actually, Ortiz I don't even put above Parker. The only person I really put above Parker is Tyson Fury. So I think this is probably the second best opponent Wilder's ever facing, even though he's a bit of an older Parker. So yeah, man. So I think Wilder wins, but I can't see Parker causing us problems, man.
Mm-hmm. What other fights on that? Oh, Bivol Arthur.
I think Bivol beats him, but Arthur is a very good fight. I think Bivol boxes him and maybe takes him out a little mid rounds, mid to late rounds.
Yes. I think Oppenheimer Zorro's on that as well.
I think Zorro's a good boxer again. I think Zorro's undefeated, right?
He is, yeah.
But
I
I
think
think that
he's
Oppenheimer,
17 or 16-0 or something.
yeah. But how do you say his name, Oppenheimer? I think he's a bit of a machine. I think he's one of those guys that he's at the world level right now, and I think he could take out Zorro as well. I think he could stop Zorro later on.
Yeah,
I don't see no early
Oppenheimer's a
stoppages.
beast.
Yeah, he's an animal. He's an animal. So I see maybe mid to late rounds again. But Zorro is a good fighter, man. He's a very good boxer.
Mm-hmm. What about this weekend, Devin Haney Progrias?
Ooh, I'm a fan of both. I think Devin Haney will outbox him for 12 rounds. But again, Prograis is an underrated boxer. Again, when he fought Josh Taylor, it was a competitive fight, which I think Josh Taylor won by a round, but he gave Josh Taylor probably his hardest fight before Josh Taylor did lose. And Prograis, he's been a beast. He's never really. I think he's lost once. His last fight wasn't great, but he's lost once, and he's a very good fighter. And I'll be honest, I think after Lomachenko, this is Devin Haney's hardest fight he's had. I can't really think of no one else that's up to Prograis. So I see Devin Haney, hopefully, because I'm a bigger fan of Devin Haney, outboxing him for 12 rounds and getting a unanimous decision.
Fury Usyk, of course, that's in February. Whether that goes ahead is a bit of another story. Whether that potentially could fall through, in my opinion, something might get in the way. But if that does happen on the 17th, who wins and why?
I think I'm a fan of Tyson Fury, but then after Fury's last showing, I don't think he really gives trouble to any of the top heavyweights. I think Joshua Usyk, I think all these guys beat him. So I think Usyk, when it comes to the actual fight, Fury struggled with smaller guys. He struggled with Steve Cunningham. He struggled with John McDermott early in his career. So I think when it comes to the actual boxing fight, I think Usyk outboxes him and frustrating for I think 12 rounds and just wins a unanimous decision, man. I'll be honest, because the Fury that showed up last fight, if that same Fury shows up against Usyk, Usyk will break him down and take like as mad as this sounds. If that same Fury shows up, Usyk could break him down and could possibly even take him out. Because you can't be fighting like that against a guy that's no professional amateur fights and getting knocked down and getting back up. That's a bit mental. So if that Fury shows up, he's going to be in for a long night. But if a better Fury shows up, I still don't think he's capable of beating a fighter like Usyk. I think Usyk doesn't know how it feels to lose, and he's at that stage of his career where he's in his prime, and I don't think no one's really going to beat him. I think Usyk beats everyone. I think Usyk beats him quite handily as well.
Aziz or Buatsi?
That's a toss-up. A couple of years ago, I would say Buatsi, because of how good Aziz is looking recently. I'm not too sure, but as much as I like Aziz, I'd have to pick Buatsi, even though I know Buatsi didn't look great his last fight, just because of how he's looked throughout his whole career. And he was an Olympic silver medalist, I think. So, or gold medalist, I'm not too sure. He won something in the Olympics, but because of how he's looked his whole career, because of his performances he puts up, I think Buatsi outboxes him, I'll be honest. I think Buatsi boxes. I think Aziz just follows him on, and Buatsi just boxes on a back foot, and just outboxes him.
Oh, a fight I forgot. Dubois v Miller.
I think Miller walks him down and takes him out. I'll be honest. I know people call him the human pharmacy or whatnot because he's on all the roids in the world. But I think when it comes to their fight, I honestly believe Miller takes his shots and I think walks him down and stops him late. I think round 8 or round 9. I think he just takes a shot with the wild gas and I think Miller. I'm talking about the Miller from years back, but I haven't seen Miller box recently. I'm talking about Miller pre-Joshua fight before that got cancelled. If that Miller shows up, I remember I forgot who he fought. It was not Helenius. It was someone that he just walked him down.
Lucas Brown.
Lucas, he fought Lucas Brown recently, right? But I didn't really watch that fight. I knew he stopped him, right?
He stopped him. I think it was 6. I think I can't remember.
I think Joshua steroid Miller takes him out, and this Miller I think still causes him big problems and takes him out as well. Because Dubois is a good fighter, but I think Miller, he's 200 something pounds. He's probably one of the heaviest and biggest heavyweights on the planet. He's got a thick neck, and I don't see many people beating him, man. And I know he's had a steroid pass, but he's a very difficult guy to go out and beat because a guy that throws that many punches out that way is difficult to beat. So I'd pick Miller for that, man.
What? So were you not impressed with Dubois' performance against Usyk?
But I know a lot of people do talk about Dubois' performance against Usyk, and it was a good performance. And before that so-called body shot or knockdown shot, it was a competitive fight, of course, but I think Usyk was still winning the rounds, and he hit him with that body shot or groin. It was on the groin protector, right? So it's classified as a low shot, and I think that's the reason Usyk stayed down for so long. If it was classified as a body shot, I think Usyk would have got right back up and gone back to work. But even after landing that shot on Usyk on round 8, he still got knocked out on round 11. So I can't really judge him and say, oh yeah, I think he'll beat Usyk because of that. I think he'll beat Miller because of that body shot. Because when it really comes down to it, he kind of not quits. Of course, is a hard thing to say to a boxer, but he doesn't go the whole way because against Joey Joyce, who got found out against Zhang not too long ago, he got hit and he took a knee. Against Usyk, he almost quit because he took a lot of shots. he took a lot of shots, so he didn't really like what was happening, so, and he took a knee. So against Miller, a guy that talks shit and a guy that just keeps coming forward, doesn't give you a break. I think something similar happened. Don't get me wrong, it was a good performance against Usyk, but Tony Bellew gave Usyk a good performance too, and I think Miller beat someone like Tony Bellew. I know Tony Bellew's been retired, but a
Mm.
lot of people give Usyk a good run for his money, but then they lose at the end of the day. So it doesn't really matter, I believe.
When you're in there,
Mm.
what do the refs say to you, like where the low blow is?
So when I went there, I think he said anything below the waistline. But if the trunks are pulled up, where is the waistline? I think that's where the grey area is. So I can't really remember. I'm pretty sure he said anything below here, and he pointed each other's waistline. So just below the belt. I think he said anything below there is a low blow. And even in the Dubois fight against Usyk, you can see he hit him on the belt, right? And it looked like it's kind of pulled up his all. It looked like he had a high belt line. So it's a weird situation, man. But I'm not too sure. I think it was, even though it was a good body shot, at the same time I think from a different angle it looked like a good groin shot. I think it was hit low as well. So it is what it is. But I believe if the referee did say to him and started counting, Usyk
Mm.
would have got a straight back up and just jumped on him and just taken him out. And I think Dubois would have gassed even more by thinking he had him. And
And
I think
people
Usyk
were
would have just stopped him.
saying that they should do a rematch, but in my opinion, I think that wouldn't happen in the rematch, and think it would still go the exact same way.
To be fair, let's be honest, it was a one-sided fight. I think Usyk was just outboxed him and just took him out. Like if you watch every single one of Usyk's fights, it's the same thing. Like he figures you out at the start and then he takes you out towards the end. Tony Bellew, when he was like a cruiserweight against Gassiev and against all these guys, he was doing the exact same thing. He was figuring you out. Then he started taking you out, and then he'd either stop you or just beat the living daylights out of you. And Dubois, he stopped, and he doesn't stop too many people. He didn't stop Chisora, he didn't stop Joshua, but he stopped Dubois. So I don't see why so many people are saying it was a great performance. It was a good performance, but at the end of the day, he still lost.
Mm. Yes. What can fans expect from you in 2024?
So in 2024, I'm getting back on the scene once my sorry, yeah, once my thumb heals up. I'm taking everyone's favorite fighters out, man. I'm chasing them down. I'm taking them out, so anyone can get it. So
Hmm.
it'd be an explosive 2024 for me, hopefully, because I said to you it'd be an explosive 2020 into 2023. I don't really have no fights, but as long as I get the fights I want and the fights I need, as long as I'm healthy, I'm coming for everyone, man. Whether it's a Southern area champ, whether it's an English champ, I don't believe there's a man born from his mother that can beat me, man. So I'm taking them all out.
Hmm. And do you want to say thank you to anyone who's helping you in your career at this moment in time?
To be honest, I want to say thank you to all my friends and family that come to my fight and all my supporters. And if my support, the people that do come to my fight, they're not really fans or supporters. I see them as friends and family again. So I want to give a big thanks to them. I want to give a big thanks to my brothers and whatnot for helping me, and a big thanks to my coach as well, Xavier Miller, for making me a good pro man. So and a big thank you to you as well. I know I thank you last time as well. Thank you again for putting me on your platform. And no matter how big the platform is, a platform's a platform. And I do appreciate you for putting me on twice now. I think you was the first guy I was on with as well. I think straight after my announcement for my pro debut, you put me on. So I do appreciate it. And I see big things for you in the future as well, man.
Oh, thank you, mate. And big year ahead of you.
100% big year ahead. We're gonna take some chins off, and hopefully once I get the southern area strap or the English strap, I'm come straight to you. We're gonna do our next interview with the towels around my waist or around my chest.
Yes, mate, 100%. And yes,
100%.
thank you for your time, mate.
Thank you. Really do appreciate it.
Bye,
Take
mate.
it.